Hi guys, I'm going to walk you through my pattern for the Essential Oils travel case. You will need to download the PDF pattern or buy the printed booklet to get through this video. There are pieces inside in case you don't feel comfortable measuring out the rectangles. You can just trace your fabrics. This over here is my exterior, and I'm going to fuse the SF101 to the wrong side. Next, you're going to take the fusible fleece or quilt batting if you're using it and center it on a lining main body piece. And I like to use fusible fleece because then it sticks really easily. If you're using quilt batting, you can still press it. It won't stick per se, but it will hold in place while we're sewing this together, and then in the seam allowance it'll be sewed down. So if you're a beginner, get fusible fleece. It's worth it. It's just easier. Okay, so that's done. And now we're going to take our zipper tabs, and you're folding the short sides in to meet in the middle and press. And then you're going to fold again and press again, and your zipper will go right inside there. Now trim your zipper down to size. See, I cut off that metal end piece for sure. Place it all the way in to touch the fold. Fold this over and sew right down the edge here, and that will secure it. If you're using a nylon zipper, you'll be able to sew right over the zipper teeth. If you're using metal zippers, you're going to have to hand crank over the metal or risk breaking a needle. So you'll do that on both sides, and then you're going to trim those to be the same width as the zipper itself, just like that. And I just make sure that both sides are caught and this zipper is securely in there. Trim any threads and get ready to do the pockets. Now you'll have 4 pocket pieces, and you want to take 2 of them right now to complete 1 pocket. Place them right sides together, aligning the top and side edges. Take your fusible fleece and place it onto the wrong side of the pocket piece, aligning the top edge. It is centered. You will have some space on either side. That's on purpose for when we sew this bag together. Make sure to fuse it in place. Now sew along that top edge, securing all 3 layers. Just right along that straight edge, super easy. And then when we take it off here, you're going to press the fabrics wrong sides together. So now I'm folding it wrong sides together. And get that crease at the top really nice. You might want to use a pointy like chopstick or some kind of tool to help you get that really nice. I've made a million of these, so I'm just going to finger press it here and then hit it with the iron. Now we're going to top stitch, and that will make that pocket have a really nice professional clean top edge inside the pouch. Press those stitches to set them and repeat for the other pocket. Now both pockets are done, and we will be placing them on the lining. So remember that fusible fleece is centered on the back of the lining pieces. Place it so the right sides are up facing you. And then align your pocket so the side and bottom edges are aligned and pin in place. And mark your pockets according to the pattern. And after your first one, you may want to adjust your pockets a little bit, which is perfectly fine. But this is what I use all the time because it works for both the roll-on bottles and the 15 ml bottles. So I'm marking that first pocket at 2.5 inches in. And then I work from the left and go over. Here I just mark my seam allowance because I want to remember, I want to secure that side down and at the same time kind of remember that that's my seam allowance. And it does help the pockets offset when they're all filled with bottles so that they're not, you know, bottle to bottle right on top one another. That's what I'm trying to talk about here. Starting from the top of the pocket, start sewing and remember to lock stitch and then continue sewing down. And do all these lines in the same direction or the pocket can end up wonky. So I always just take it completely out. It's just what I have to do to make it work. And start on the next pocket line, remembering to lock stitch. That's the most stress that the pocket endures, is right at that top, so make sure to go over it a couple of times. Okay, now we're going to put the case together. Take your prepared zipper and place it right side together with the exterior, aligning the top edges, and you want 1/2 inch of space on either side of the zipper tabs. See that space on both sides? That's our seam allowance, and we want that because we're going to sew right by the zipper tabs, not over them, when we put this case together. So sew down your zipper tape to your exterior using your zipper foot. There is a faint line if you need a guide. Otherwise, use your zipper foot and just go straight across that edge. I make sure my needle is good to go. I hand crank it there to make sure it's not going to hit a plate or a foot. I always do that. Okay, so one side is attached there. You can see it's attached. We're good here. Take your lining, one of your lining pieces, and place it right sides together with what we just sewed. Align the top edge. I like to flip it over and view the previous stitches and sew along those stitches exactly right on top of them. And then you know you're catching everything. All right, so that side is attached. I'm going to fold it back and finger press and really make sure everything is attached there nicely, and then finger press wrong sides together for those fabrics. One side is done. Okay, now we're attaching the other side. Take what you just sewed and place right sides together, aligning top edges and centering so you still have those 1/2 inch spaces on both sides of the zipper tabs. Use clips to hold in place. And again, I like to sew right along that line that's on the zipper tape. It's super faint. Otherwise, just go straight with your zipper foot. You'll be fine. Okay, so we're attaching the last remaining lining piece. Place it right sides together with the other lining piece, aligning the top edge with the free edge of the zipper, again centering using clips to hold in place. Okay, I'm going to sew right along that stitching line that we just sewed, and then this side will be attached. Finger press those fabrics wrong sides together just like we did before. I like to train the fabrics to lay correctly with an iron. It just makes a big difference. Another great option with this pattern is to leave the inside pockets out and just make a simple zipper case. I have another video that shows that in effect with Stardust vinyl, and they're super fast and they're excellent gifts, and they do sell well at craft fairs. Alright, let's trim threads, get this cleaned up and tidy to finish up. So make sure that zipper is open. That's super, super important. It's in bold in your pattern, and I show it here. All right, let's take exteriors and place them right sides together and use pins or clips to hold in place. What I'm showing you here is I always make markings where I leave it open for turning right sides out after we've sewn this together. Now, as you can see on this side view here, the zipper tabs are in a 1/2 inch. So as you're sewing down the side, you will not be sewing over the zipper tabs. You have enough space there to just slide right by them. And that's going to allow you to have a really beautiful finished case with no puckered zipper corners. If you need to smidge in a little bit with your seam allowance, it's okay. Just don't sew over those zipper tabs. Okay, I just like to trim my edges and trim my corners a bit so I have nice, beautiful corners. If you want to trim some of your side seams down, I suggest that in the pattern. It just helps everything sit flatter and more nicely. And now at that opening that you left in the bottom of the lining, we're going to turn the bag right side out. You will really want to push those zipper tab corners out with your thumb or your finger. It does take a little bit of effort. Oftentimes people sew it right and think they did something wrong simply because they didn't push out the tabs strongly enough. So make sure you push them out. Fold in the bottom of your lining and sew it shut. Some people like to do it by hand. I do things as quick as possible, so I sew it closed with a machine. Give everything a really good press and tidy up all your loose threads. Push your lining down into your bag and you are done. This is an awesome gift at Christmas, birthdays, Hanukkah, whatever you want to do. Sell them at craft fairs. You don't have to ask my permission. Have fun with it. I appreciate when you guys tag me on social media and on Instagram. I'm SewHungryHippie. I love celebrating you and your talents, and I will repost whenever I can. Here I'm showing you a view of those zipper tabs. See how I have to really get in there and push it out? Don't be afraid. All right, I will see you guys soon. Have fun, give this thing a press, and go make some more.